Thanks for joining me today. What I want to talk about today, or actually who I want to talk about, is Donald Trump. And I'm sure a lot of you know that many people said he would never become president. Many celebrities, that is. I'm going to mention some of these things that they said and also talk about his many accomplishments as president. When Donald Trump announced he was running for president in 2015, many famous people, politicians, media personalities, entertainers, said that he would never be president. Among them was MSNBC host Lawrence O'Donnell. He stated, Trump is never going to be president. He's never going to be the Republican nominee, and he's never even going to be a candidate for president. In April of 2016, Tom Hanks stated, Donald Trump will be president when spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red capes. In May of that same year, Nancy Pelosi said, Trump will never be president, I guarantee it. Soon after Trump announced that he was running, Henry Etten, who wrote for 538, said, Trump has a better chance of playing in the NBA Finals than winning the Republican nomination. Also at this time, Stuart Stevens, a former advisor to Mitt Romney, predicted that Trump would drop out of the race before a single vote was ever cast. Jeb Bush stated, Trump won't be president. He will get wiped out in the general election. In my opinion, the most stupid statement about Donald Trump came from Bruce Springsteen, who called Trump a moron. He also stated, with Trump running, it's a tragedy for our democracy. In my opinion, is that Bruce Springsteen is the moron. When you look at Trump, here's a man who was 69 years old when he decided to run for the presidency. He beat out 16 other Republicans, and then he won the presidency against Hillary Clinton, who had the mainstream media on her side. And when I say the mainstream media, I really mean almost the entire mainstream media. By election day of 2016, there were 19 newspapers that endorsed Donald Trump for the presidency and 240 that endorsed Hillary Clinton. And Trump is also a man who never held public office at that time, and he still won. Trump had many accomplishments while in office as president. Among them, he signed the VA Mission Act, which improved veterans' access to health care. He created a White House Veterans Hotline, which opened up in June of 2017. In the first 2 years of operation, it fielded more than 250,000 phone calls. He launched the Veterans Suicide Prevention Task Force in August of that year. And he also signed a memorandum to ensure that veterans receive access to student loans and other educational benefits. He cut the corporate tax rate from 35% down to 21%. Before these tax cuts were made, many U.S. companies had more than $26 trillion tied up in overseas markets to avoid paying the corporate tax rate. These tax cuts brought it down to being more in line with the global marketplace. Trump also signed the Criminal Justice and Reforms Act and the First Step Act, which created proportional penalties for people who committed lower level crimes and gave them a second chance. Many people who attack Trump say that he's a racist, but look at the following points. He appointed Lorna Maylock to serve as the first black female brigadier general in the United States Marine Corps. He also signed the Future Act, which gave $250 million annually to the HBCUs. This will benefit over 100 historically black colleges and universities, as well as 40 faith-based colleges. Trump also recognized the sacrifices that many African American soldiers made to secure their freedom by establishing a 380-acre site in Kentucky to honor African American roles as soldiers in the Civil War. In 2017, he signed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which created opportunity zones to help build low-income areas in all 50 states. This uses tax incentives to spur investment to parts of the U.S. that struggle with poverty and low job growth. These opportunity zones are comprised of 8,761 communities throughout the U.S., and 56% of these are in minority communities. You know, many people ask me, what made me vote for Trump? And I'll admit too, when he first stated that he was running, I thought, is he really going to go through with it? You know, but then I heard him talk to a couple of reporters, and it really changed my mind and made me back Trump all the way. You know, one reporter asked him, well, if you were president and you had a man and a woman doing the same job, would you pay them the same rate? And he said, absolutely. And if she's doing a better job, I'll pay her more. And then another reporter asked him, do you think you paid enough in federal income taxes last year? And he said, yes, I do. I paid as little as I legally could pay. And that's the way I feel too. I don't care if you make $10,000 a year or $10 million a year. You should want to pay as little tax as you can legally. And that's what I like about Trump. That's why I feel we need him back in office. Because he's not a lifelong politician, he's a businessman. He sees problems and looks at the best way to solve them. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the information I've shared today and learned something. And I'll see you again on the next video.